Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world, episode 590. All on the Tree Tuesdays with Dan the Man, the Mayor, Marshall Mendez. Wouldn't it be all on the Tree Tuesday without these two guys? Holy shit. Welcome back, fellas. Another week, huh?
What's up?
Dan looks pretty serious in that thumbnail, man.
Oh, you should have saw him at fucking sound check, poor guy. Holy shit. He was losing it, man.
Look at that guy. You know what he needs? He needs a little sickness wine to calm his nerves.
Oh, I don't have it pulled up, but I will have it pulled up during the episode. I got to show you the original picture this guy sent me for his thumbnail. And I was like, I don't know if I could use this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to wait for him to come on the screen for that one. But hey, what's going on, fellas? Good to have you back. Marshall, Bill. What's shaking, Marshall? How you living, bro?
Doing good. Trying to stay warm. Bill, you're getting it too, man. We're going out of 10 degrees tonight. So, yeah, luckily it's not very windy. So my everything's holding temperature good. Rat house is at 60 degrees and snake room's 75 degrees right now. So, yeah, just trying to stay warm.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say same. You know, for us, this is pretty dang cold. I'm not as cold as Marshall, but pretty chilly when you got to drip the faucet. You know, I'm not used to that kind of shit.
Dude, Bill, do you feel like it just keeps getting colder and colder and colder in your area, like, you know, throughout the years, or have you had these kind of temps before?
No, we've had them before. Yeah, we've had them. This is just, you know, we only get them for maybe a couple of weeks out of the year. And so when it comes, it seems like it's never come before. But we have them. This is typical for us.
Sheesh, man.
Not you, though.
No, I wish I could fucking, I don't even, I feel bad. You know, I was bragging to all my Patreon members and they're like showing me fucking single digit, if not, you know, below 0 degrees. And I'm like, I'm on my backyard with no shirt, taking stuff out of the shed. It's 10 a.m.
Poor Ryan Young, huh? Anybody check the Idaho temperature today?
I thought his car was broken, and when he showed the 3, I'm like, is there supposed to be a 0 or at least a 1 in front of that? It was just a 3. I couldn't believe it.
And then he said, now it's 2.
Hey, can you imagine, like, you imagine the shit Brian Young says to himself, pissed off in the cold sometimes? I wish I was there to hear it. Like, I wonder what he says. I
have a feeling. I have a feeling he talks to himself a lot.
Marshall, okay, give us the albino update. What's good?
Same as last week. He's doing good. Or right. She, whatever, fed it after it took that big dump a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, man, I think it's going to go into another shed pretty soon. Color's definitely starting to lighten up. So, yeah. You know, status quo right now. Doing good.
Eggs are good.
I knew Ryan Young was lurking out there. Of course,
it's hard to find GTP gearbers like me. Yeah, we all know that, buddy.
One of a kind for sure.
Real GTP keepers.
Real GTP, the green, like the ones that like the green tree python.
Yeah.
The green ones.
Yeah.
Those.
But anyways, the eggs are good, Marshall?
Yeah, eggs are great, man. They're sitting on vermiculite still, and I've got the temperature set at my thermostat says like 86.7 or something, and my Govee says 87. So I'm just riding with it.
Perfect.
Fuck yeah! All right, good to hear. What's going on with shaking with you, Bill? I know you you have eggs due pretty soon here, don't you?
Yeah, I'm 8 or 9 days out. The eggs are looking good. I've switched up a little bit in my incubation box, but I'll throw that out as a teaser because I want to wait and talk more about it when we have MJ. I sent a message out to you today to get the PhD, the vet PhD out from Arizona State.
Yeah.
On an upcoming episode, I talked to him a little bit today. Cool. About some things I'm trying a little bit different, and so I'm not going to quite divulge it yet. It's nothing earth-shattering, but something that we can talk about on that episode.
Looking forward to it.
Nice.
Well, yeah, man, definitely. Before we get into tonight's sponsors and whatnot, why don't you give us a little bit about Dan the Man, Bill? I got to meet Dan at your party more than once. Obviously.
Yeah.
He's always showing up early.
No, I think he and his wife have both been out to the place. I think we'll confirm, but I think he's been out 3 times.
Cool.
The last time he came a day early, and just really enjoyed. I got to spend a lot of time with him, and really enjoyed getting to know him. He's a great guy.
Real nice guy.
You guys will figure that out, or at least you guys have all met him, but the audience today will figure out he's a great guy, knowledgeable. He's not a newcomer anymore. When it was like I first met him, he was pretty green in all of this, but now he's got some experience behind his back. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say tonight.
Damn. Well, hell yeah, let's get to it. But before we do, shout out to tonight's sponsor. Shout out to GS Reptiles, my favorite on YouTube when it comes to learning about the rare species of reptiles that you can keep in your own collection. So head over to GS Reptiles on YouTube, subscribe to this man's content, and also follow him on Instagram. Definitely one of the best and one of the most fun channels to be following when it comes to learning about cool stuff. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. Mark did some work last week representing the yellow neonates, and if you have not caught that debate yet, he kicks some ass, man, for sure. Shout out to the yellow neonates out there. Plenty of potential. And I always knew that, just so you know. That was kind of I was trolling you guys in a bit. But yeah, thank you, Mark Hager, Texas Chondros. Go to TX Chondros on Instagram. He is definitely one of the best putting on other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas. And yeah, definitely one of the best in the chondro game. So thank you so much, Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Sundown Reptiles. If you want true high-end captive bred animals, no other place to look than Sundown Reptiles. Brian Susan, one of the best doing it for sure. Head over to Sundown Reptiles on Instagram. All right, we're talking all species of tree monitors that this man works with. Awesome, beautiful kahua. All right, I have a couple of his kahuas that I'm excited to be pairing up here really soon. Just top tier animals coming from this guy. He's been doing it for a while. I put a vlog out on his place a few months ago, and it was a hit. So make sure you go watch that the Trap Reptile vlogs. But anyways, thank you so much, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. Go to sundownreptiles.com. Check out his website. Do not sleep on this guy. I'm telling you right now. All right, and then also tonight's episode is brought to you by Focus Cube Habitats, #1 PVC enclosures in the game. Go to focuscubehabitats.com. Place your order on 30 different styles of enclosures. Thank you, Stephen Ashley. I got hella enclosures coming from them soon. But yeah, man, listen.
I saw that on their Instagram the other day. I saw that your new cages.
Well, my heart dropped, okay, because I actually have 4 of those big cages coming. He put 2, and I was like, I have 4 of those coming, right? And it's because I put 2 separate orders for him. So he's like, oh shit, I forgot to add that. I was like, dude, if I just want to make sure I'm getting 4 enclosures, because I do need 4 of those enclosures.
What are the dimensions on those? I couldn't tell from the pictures that you sent.
4 foot long, or I'm sorry, 4 foot tall by 4 foot long by 2 feet deep.
So wow. For tree monitor cages.
Yeah, they're tree monitor enclosures. Yeah, but
nice.
You know what?
Nice.
I don't want to drag on this, but one thing I'm thinking too down the road, because listen, I'm not saying I'm already thinking about getting out of tree monitors, but I just don't know long term if it's something I want to forever do with my life, but I do know one thing I would put in these enclosures if I had them empty, or those is a big fucking emerald for sure. I think that size enclosures are perfect for giant size emeralds. So anyways, talk about that down the line. Dan the man, you ready or what? Should we bring him on? I know he's nervous as shit, so let's just do this. Let's bring him on. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right,
Let's go.
He's very serious because he's a snake man on Instagram. Check him out. Episode 590. Dan the man, aka Daniel DeLuca, coming at you right now. Let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
coming.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
we're live, episode 590. Dan the man in the building, and
Oh man,
this was supposed to be his original thumbnail picture.
I
I
love
would have had
it.
to call in. I would have had to call in sick.
We would have lost Marshall. We would have lost a few others, unfortunately. But listen, at least I shared it. What's up, Dan? Welcome to the trap, buddy.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Dan? How you doing, man?
Hey, Marshall.
Happy
Long
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday.
Hey, dude. People thought we were boycotting Dan from coming on the show
Wow.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Why would they think that?
because I guess we were taking so long to have him on. I think
Yeah.
Wow. I'll take that as a compliment.
it is a compliment. Yeah, we should have had you here months ago, buddy. How you doing? Good to have you here, bud.
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for the invite.
Well, for the record, can you say how many times you've been to Bill's?
I think twice.
Okay, so I met you both times when you went to Bill's for sure. Then
No, the first
Or no.
time I went out to Bill's, oh boy, that was a while ago. It was during COVID. I was going
Yeah.
out on vacation out to Galveston, and we were I'd been chatting with him through email and his website and stuff a year or so prior, and we ended up I think it was 2020. I remember it was during COVID, and ended up just personal one-on-one, and me and my girl went out to on a vacation, and we ended up the tail end of it shot up to Bill's area for a couple days. And,
It's
got to-
conveniently by Bill's house on the way home from vacation.
yeah, it was. He's like, well, that's quite a drive down. I'm like, that's fine.
13 hours.
Galveston is 6 hours from me, a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, I think we did 6 or 7 nights there, and then 2 nights out at your place. So yeah,
Oh,
that was a great trip.
No, can you even count at this point how many people just message you like, "Hey, I'm happen to be in the area. Can I maybe come by?" Like, how many people do that? You think?
I couldn't even count. I couldn't even give you an accurate estimate. A lot of people, and I'm always glad to have them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you're in a good spot for that there in Dallas. That's a lot of people are find
Yeah.
themselves there.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to get to. And a lot of people, even like Gary, he's got family in the Houston area, and so yeah, it just seems like it's a relatively central area to get to. And having the NARBC in my backyard certainly doesn't hurt.
yeah. Now you're out of Boston, right, Dan?
Yeah, I'm about 30, 40 minutes north of Boston.
And I don't have to ask you if you're born and raised there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I listen. I don't know how. So I know how some people feel, but I love a Boston accent. You know, New York accent. I just love all that shit. It just, you know, I'm a big movie guy. But for you, Dan, I'm curious. You know, you're in a cold part of the country, right? Can't be that easy to keep chondros. So how did you get into it?
It can be a struggle this time of year. I'm still trying to the humidity thing, trying to figure that out. It's tough, but now that I've kind of set up just a designated room, it's getting better. So actually, I was gonna ask you guys about humidifiers. I've been messing with a bunch of different ones, and it's not. I'd like to find a real, like a good solid one that.
I want to go first. Let me go first. So check this out. Air Care. I'm telling you, even though John Irby switched up on me, I use this thing called Air Care, and I just sent the link to Mark Hager from Amazon. I'm sweating in here. Like, I figured out like what I had to do. And one of the things when Stephen Cush was over here not too long ago, and Alex, they're like, well, dude, what's fucking you up with your humidity is I had fans blowing all everywhere. You know, and fans, that's gonna fucking dry shit out pretty quickly, but I like the airflow. So it's kind of like I'm happy where my humidity's at, but now I feel stuffy as fucking here, and I don't have like the right kind of, I don't want to say right. I don't know if the airflow is important, which we could talk about right now. I have airflow, don't get me wrong, but it's not like blasting in here like it was at one point. So everything, go ahead.
I'll just interject and say the game changer for me was to be able to get a humidifier that will directly plumb into the water source, so you never have to fill it.
Yeah.
You know, that to me, having to fill that fucking thing and clean the filters was more of a pain in the ass than I even wanted to mess with. But then I talked to some people that used, I mean, they're almost like an industrial type. These guys are using it for their grow rooms, you know, their wheat grow rooms. They have humidifiers and dehumidifiers, I guess, depending on the cycle. But the ability to have it plumb directly in and never have to worry about it. You have to clean it very, you know, infrequently, and there's no filters to change, and it's been a game changer.
Yeah. And then Marshall, I don't think you struggle much, right? Even this time of year, Marshall, aren't you kind of struggling?
No, yeah. This time of year, I mean, hearing us talk about it the last couple of weeks has made me, you know, think about looking into it. Also, would have to get a hard piped one, just because the room's so big and spread out. Like, I'd be filling it up a couple times a day, I would think, but it's never really been a problem until, you know, we've been really cold. Like the last couple of winters, we've had, you know, several weeks where, you know, it goes down into the teens and doesn't get above freezing. And I really can tell the difference. I can tell the difference. The room is, you know, usually it's in the summertime, it's 70, 80% humidity in there, just with nothing. Wow. And now it's like in the 30%.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
And here's the thing.
So I noticed.
Go ahead, Marshall.
I was going to say, I noticed the cage is drying out more. I've got to, you know, spray even the ball pythons that are on COCO. You know, I've got to wet them down at least once a week, because if not, they just, you know, they're just totally dried out.
I'm telling you right now, guys, you're not asking for any more problems besides fucking when you have really bad humidity. Like having bad humidity, like some snakes will live for it. Don't get me wrong. But once you start breeding and stress is involved with this low humidity, oh, it's a fucking disaster. It's not good.
Yeah.
And it's something you should regulate sooner than later. I'm telling you, because I think I got away with shit humidity majority of me keeping, and that's not okay. But that's when I'm realizing, like, okay, maybe things aren't shitting the way they should be shitting. And you got to think, the snake's not acting like a normal snake when the humidity's all fucked up. You know, it's something not to look over for sure. Humidity is so important. You know,
I think humidity, at least in my circumstance, can be kind of like temperatures. So I have my humidifier set just to go off at night, you know, so it runs, I get 60, 70% humidity at night.
Yeah.
And then if the humidity during the day drops down into the 30s, it doesn't seem to matter, just as long as I get that nighttime humidity up.
Yeah, and going back to what we were talking about, like, you know, I guess the downside about the air care is you do have to be on top of, like, if you don't have it hardwired into a water system, first and foremost, to fill back up, which I don't even know if you could do that with air care. I'll look into it, but you got to make sure the water's filled. And then that filter does get nasty after only a couple months, or not even. Like, yeah, I would say maybe a month or two. So you got to have those filters on deck first and foremost. But also, like, one thing I wasn't doing, Bill, was, you know, like I was waking up in the morning and seeing low humidity. So I was so focused on keeping humidity high during the day. But nighttime is where it's even more crucial. So I wasn't filling it up, topping it off at night. So I would say even before midnight, there's probably no water in that humidifier. And then they're going like hours of it just being fucking dry in here. Because, dude, once the humidifier stops in this room, it dries out. It'll go from mid 50s to like 20s or 15 even if I'm not doing something in here. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
and Bill, you're just running one big one for your whole snake house?
No, I actually, you know, this is still relatively new to me, and so I just have one unit that does just that back area. I haven't addressed the big main room, but most of my chondros are in the back area anyway. So I'm still playing. I'm experimenting. You know, my next thing, again, this is thanks to John Irby, is I'm getting an RO unit incorporated into the humidifier. So all the water that runs through that humidifier will be RO water. Which,
good for
the air. Takes care of all the little, you know, I just noticed even when I run it now, the particles, you know, settle from that hard water.
Bottom of the tank. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I noticed I had a humidifier I used before the air care that would pump out all this white stuff, and I fucking couldn't stand it. But the air care does not do that. I don't have any white stuff that flows, which is also why I'm a big fan of it. It's just the maintenance part, you know.
It's probably getting caught by that filter.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's why that filter gets dirty so quick. So, but I gotta ask you something, Dan. Are you noticing anything due to the humidity issue before you started, like, you know, getting on top of it or whatnot? Like, were you getting a lot of stuck sheds or anything that you could talk on?
This time of the year, it was common. I just struggled with the with the stuck sheds, and you know, with these snakes, some of them can not be too appreciative when you're you know, trying to do it yourself. But I use the incubator, soak them down in that, and you know, it pops right off. But so it's just nice if I'm just trying to figure out the humidity. I have the same thing, the air care. Christian Stewart, John Irby turned me onto them a while ago. It seems like I got a couple of them in here now, and same problem that you have. They're awesome until that filter gets screwed up, and it's like, it was weird. Like when I first got the units with the original filters, it seemed like it lasted a long time, and then all the new ones, it's like, Jesus, I just freaking replaced the damn thing. It's nonstop this time of the year.
But if you have one, but it works. Like the thing is, it works good enough where you don't want to, you know, it's worth you ordering those fucking filters. I'll tell you that
True.
much.
Yeah, I've gone through it.
What happens when the filter gets dirty? Does it just not work as well?
It's just nasty. I think it's just nasty. It smells. It
smells like a dead fish.
Yeah, it's because, you know, what you'll do is the air care will tell you CF, which means change filter. So it'll even tell you, like, yo, go change this filter. And I forgot what happened one time, but it was I don't think I had it on for a while, and the filter was fucking nasty. And I filled it up and turned it on. Oh, bro, it was like death. I was like, what the fuck? And so yeah, you see how beautiful white these filters are, and then by the time you're done, they're like brown black.
Yeah,
it's pretty gnarly.
Looks
again,
like
again, MJ, I think, you know, if you incorporated an RO unit into that,
the water wouldn't be so bad. Maybe
no.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think that whole RO system is not a bad idea, period. Like, first and foremost, right. I mean, it's kind of like the norm too in households. Like, you go to a lot of people's houses and there's all these crazy systems. And I mean, I don't know. I just think it's something that's not bad for anything. If you can add it, of course, and they're not that expensive, right? They're like a couple $100. And then do you need someone to come install it for you? Or is that something you could do yourself that you guys know of with these RO filter systems?
You could probably do it yourself, but I mean, you know, to get it, I wouldn't want to like be sweating pipes and, you know, I don't know. I'm not a plumber, but there is a way you can hook it up to like a faucet, you know, like with a screw in. But you know, the problem is you have to have a tank with a float valve so that it, you know, can fill up when your reservoir runs out. So I'm not quite sure how Irby's got his rigged up.
Yeah, he has. It does. You know, you can get an RO unit that comes with a small tank, and it all comes together. I just bought one. I haven't even put it in yet, but for less than $300, the RO filter the tank, everything. But
And you just put a float valve in the humidifier reservoir.
My humidifier came with a float valve, and it comes meant to be hardwired.
Oh, that's tight.
Gotcha.
So no filter,
Okay.
and no filters that you need because of the water, right, Bill?
No, this comes it's an industrial humidifier, and it just doesn't have a filter. I don't know the mechanics of how it works, but I've run it for 2 months.
Bill's like, I don't ask questions.
Right.
If you're using RO water, you shouldn't need a filter because the RO takes it down to just literally H2O and strips it of everything else.
Yeah.
All other particles. So it's just pure water when it comes out. The other, the clean side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like I got to look into that. I heard John Irby talking about it, and it sparked my interest.
Me too. I mean, also too, you see how some of these snakes digest some of the waters in their urates. Like I see like some crystallizations in some gnarly ones, some that almost look too normal to me, but I don't know. I just fucking keep it moving sometimes. I just see some urates that aren't white, sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, I think that's a different discussion, like, whether to provide just pure RO water for your chondros is probably not a good idea from my understanding. I think Patrick used a combination of, maybe half RO water and half tap water. But I think it's the minerals in regular hard water is beneficial unless you're having problems. Urates, and then you can cut the tap water down depending on the quality of your tap water.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I personally feel like I'm not having issues with my water as far as with the snakes go, because but I'm as far as what's in the air and what I'm breathing, personally, I'm not opposed to having fucking RO water. Because listen, if we think about what this filter is starting to look like, I mean, what's going in the air also, even though it's not part, I don't know. And I feel like that filter is kind of telling a story in a sense. So maybe just get cleaner water if you can for the air. But all right, listen, Dan, since we're talking about humidity, give us your rundown on temps. What has been working for you? Let's start about what you like your babies to be at, and then what you like the adults to be at when it comes to temperatures.
I got my babies. Most of the ones I got now, they're on belly tape in the 6 quarts, and the back is right where they perch is right around 84 to 86, and then in the front of it's 79 to 80 typically.
And do you?
You get a pretty big spread in a little tub like that.
I do too.
Is your ambient room cool?
It's
ambient room temp?
Like this time of the year, yeah, it'll drop, mid 70s to low 70s during the winter.
What does it peak up to during the daytime?
During the daytime, it's 75 to 80 in that range.
So it stays pretty mid 70s throughout the whole time.
Mid 70s, yeah.
But are you doing a night drop at all on babies, or if not, when do you incorporate a night drop?
Not on the babies, no. My sub-adults to the small males now and the smaller Cambros, about a year or a little more than that, I started doing the night drop on them as well, and all the adults get the night drop in the adult cages. I haven't done it on the babies. I don't know about you guys.
I do it a little of like 5 degrees or so.
The heat tape, you bring it down 6 degrees?
I keep it at 84 during the day, and down to 78 or something like that at night. So a little more than 5 degrees, I guess.
Yeah, I never I haven't done it with the baby racks. They've always been on what they are, and
I'm kind of like you, Dan. Usually when they're about a year old, I'll start incorporating a small night drop.
At a year, you said, Bill?
Yeah, about a year. Kind of like Dan. Once they get out of the 6 quart or the shoebox size, once they get out of that and into a, typically the small Cambro size, that's when I'll start doing a night drop.
Yeah. All right. So Dan, I got to ask you, with neonates, right? A lot of different stages as far as like the developing of learning how to care for a neo. Did you deal with prolapses or anything to that matter? Or any, what's your feet been so far with, prolapses and whatnot?
Yeah, I've dealt with prolapses. I've dealt with them from babies that I bought from other people, and I've dealt with them just recently with some of my babies that I hatched, a couple of them. But I've been pretty successful with getting them to thrive and move forward. So
yeah, let's talk about what you do then. So let's talk about, you walk in your room, you see a baby prolapse. What's the protocol for you?
So I kind of use like what Gary Schiavino's technique. So I'll get them off the perch. Usually depending on because I keep them over water, like my personal ones, like that I hatched out for the first, 3 months. So obviously I'll pull a perch out, and if it's not paper towel soaked and it's water soaked, I'll take the water out, put the paper towel in, soak it down with water, and I'll sugar it all up, put them in and into the tub. And actually, I forgot one step. I'll put a little bit of that like preparation H ointment on the, the exposed tissue. And I think 4 out of 5 of those. No, it's worked for all the babies. Yep.
So you've never had to manually reduce a prolapse?
No, only on an adult. I've had one adult.
Oh, really?
Yep. I've had one
How
adult.
are you doing the sugar?
The sugar, I just I'll just take the teaspoon or whatever, and I'll put it on the
Sprinkle
soap. Yeah, and I'll sprinkle it all through that, and like I said, I'll put a little preparation H on it, and I'll hit the tissue with a little bit of it, just like I'm putting sugar in my coffee.
And are you using just regular? Are you using just regular sugar?
Yeah,
okay.
The same stuff like I put on my coffee or whatever. Yep.
What do you guys think about using? I thought about using powdered sugar. Might actually be more
not as coarse,
effective at reducing the inflammation, because it would suck more water out. I think that's what you're trying to do, right?
And it would stick to the prolapse better too, right? You would say the powder versus
you would think so.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think I haven't tried it yet, but it's just an idea that I had.
Sugar powder, huh? That's a good idea.
Yeah, I have not tried it.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah.
So what else? So have you just started feeding them regularly after that, Dan, or how long do you give them off between like after they prolapse before you start feeding them again?
Yeah, so I'll probably leave them in there for, once it sucks up, it usually happens within 6 hours or whatever it is when you go back in, which is a great feeling when you see that thing gone. And usually, I'll give it a day or two and then put them back on the perch and give them a week or so, and I'll give them something small. And so I've had with my personal ones, I had 2 or 3 prolapses, and 2 of them prolapsed twice. And then, they're bulletproof now. They're monsters eating good sized fuzzies. So, yeah. I don't know. Call it luck or whatever, but it worked out, thank God. Because usually, we're talking with some other guys. Oh, you get prolapse, just throw it in the freezer. That thing's gone.
No. I think depends. It all depends on the case of the prolapse. Because I think I don't know, Bill. You've even said you fixed multiple prolapses in your time, right? That snakes ended up being just fine.
Yeah, I found that most of the time, if they prolapse, they do well. But if I've had an animal that has multiple prolapses, then usually, in my experience, those typically don't do well.
Oh, I don't know if cornstarch is bad for your snake, but this person says powdered sugar has cornstarch. I do not recommend it. But I think, is that a Toys R Us logo? I don't know if to take that serious or not. I'm not sure. But I don't know. So something to consider also. I don't. It is. Here's the thing. I love all these hacks, but I'm so sketched to just try fucking. All right, let me throw this goddamn table condiment on the goddamn animal and call it a day. I
would think the only thing there's no magic about sugar. The only thing that it's doing is trying to suck the water from the tissue. So I would think you could use flour, or you could use anything that'll coat it and then pull the water out of it. But who knows?
Well, like I said, I'll put the that preparation ointment on the tissue, and then I'll put them in the sugar paste, whatever you want to call it. It's not a ton, you know. I don't know, it's worked for me. You know, thank God.
That preparation ointment, now that's what I definitely go to if I'm going to manually reduce it. So like you, I'll dab some preparation on it, let that sit for an hour or two. And then, you know, if I need to reduce it, then I'll actually use that preparation H as kind of my ointment, my lube to work the prolapse back in.
And what does that do, Bill? Like, what does the ointment do? Is it an inflammation reducer?
Yeah, it just shrinks tissue. That's all it does.
Okay.
So, you know, in you most recent ones were with your own productions, you said, right, Jan?
Right. I had 2 of them, and the same ones prolapsed twice, and yeah, they're.
How many meals deep? How many meals deep were they, Dan?
Oh, it happened probably like 3 deep, somewhere there in that range, and then like 5 or 6.
Yeah. I had 2 recently happen, and it was like, again, well after 12 meals it happened. And I'm like,
oh,
what the fuck, you know? But also they were my 2 like slowest problematic one. Like they're the ones that were always kind of dragging their feet, and like one was on the verge of assist feeding, and then of course gecko, boom, gone. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's, I don't know. I'm not hating on anyone who says they don't get prolapses, but goddamn, I want to choke somebody when they tell me like, yeah, I don't deal with that. And I'm just like, fucking cool, dude. Fucking whatever.
And we've had people on here that have produced a lot of chondro babies.
Yeah.
And have claimed to never had to deal with prolapse. So I always wonder about that too. You know, is it their water source that's different? I can't imagine it would be a food source. Everybody seems to be feeding these things, you know, the same things. So yeah, I'm also curious about that when people have produced over 100 chondro babies and they say they've never dealt with a prolapse.
But also remember, Bill, beginning of all of talking about prolapses with you, it was everyone would say it was a hydration issue or like a humidity issue. But here we are having these over water. So that can't be the fucking case, you would say, right? Like it has to be a digestive thing, I feel like. And I feel like every chondro has a different development sometimes, or maybe more advanced development when it comes to like digesting the shit that we're feeding it. Because again, even though it's taking it, are they meant to be eating pinkies? Like, are they designed to really be digesting pinkies as their first couple of meals? And maybe some of them are just like, well, like, I don't know. Could be a gut thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I think, you know, once you rule out hydration and humidity, which this day and age, I can't imagine people are keeping their neos too dry or not offering them adequate, you know, clean water. You know, that's just very basic chondro husbandry. So I
101.
I can't imagine people are not doing that. And then you say, oh, you got to hydrate and humidity. To me, that's just a given. You know, they're well hydrated, humidity's okay, and then they still prolapse anyway.
Yeah. How are you bumping up your meals, Dan?
I kind of, to be honest, I kind of feed mine slow, I guess. But, you know, listening with some, you know, like you guys, Bill, and, you know, thinking that, you know, the pinkies could be the issue with the prolapse stuff. You know, it's just a wet noodle pretty much at feeding them. So you want to get stuff that has hair on it. And, you know, and I think that has something to do with it. It's just weird, though. You have 10 babies, say, and, you know, 8 of them are, they're all the same genetics, right? And why are 8 of them fine and 2 of them doing that? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever figure it out, but I think the food source has something to do with it. The little tiny pink that there's nothing to it.
I have an idea. Who's a person we could think of who said they had about over 50 chondros with no prolapses? Anyone stand out? Anyone?
I think Dave D.
Okay, we're going. All right, I'll go to his place. Who else?
I remember several people saying it, but I can't remember who.
Dave D said that? I can't remember Dave saying that. He said he's never had a prolapse.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
hey, that's wild. Damn.
Yeah.
Patrick would know. I mean, I know Patrick's had prolapses, but he's had very few. I mean, I think Patrick, you know, would chime in. I think he's had very few prolapses for the number of babies he's produced.
He's calling me right now. Oh, great.
He should know better. He should know better than that. Come on.
That's funny.
No, I mean, listen, yeah, it's a different case for so many different people, right? Like we think it's across the board with these experiences and these nightmares, but you know, it really isn't. You know, it's all case by case. But you know, establishing overall though, you know, minus the prolapses here and there, it's been working out for you. Like, if you let's kind of talk about when your first clutch came. When did you get your first clutch?
My first clutch was 2020.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. First clutch of eggs was 2018. Lost them all. Didn't even know they were on the way. I had no clue what was going on. My
What
son,
happened? You just weren't prepared?
no, actually, this was back 2017 into 18. So just was keeping. I had a handful more pet-like stuff. You know,
Okay.
I wasn't any serious about, you know, anything like I am now. And my son actually had put pairing together, and it took. Honest to God, it was just more luck than anything. And I remember them, both my kids calling me at work, Dad, there's eggs in the bottom of the cage. I'm just, what? And yeah, that kind of sparked the something went off the light bulb in my head. I'm, oh, geez, maybe I can keep and breed these things. You know, back then it's like they're impossible. You know, with all the myths out there, which they're not easy. But,
So that was 2018, and then
yeah, lost all those. I didn't even have an incubator, so. Yeah.
But that's kind of what pushed you into like, all right, maybe I should look into like, you know, getting some breeder stuff, or getting to like, you know, wanting to do this.
Yeah, I think that kind of just lit something in me, and so, you know, then just talking with you know, a few people. So that same pairing, I ended up repeating a year and a half later, and those were the it was like 18 eggs. I lost 15 of them in the first day or two, and then the 3 of them I went the distance, and I have them now. And actually, when I went out to Bill's, so those hatched, they were COVID babies, March 2020, and when I went out to Bill's, it was like April, I think, now that I'm remembering. I had one that still wasn't eating, and you know, after meeting Bill and hanging out with him, he was, oh, you go home, just send it to me, I'll get it feeding for you. I swear, we got home, and he'll remember this. It was a few days later, I opened the tub up. I'm like, oh shit, you know, I saw the behavior. I'm like, this thing wants to eat.
Yeah.
Thawed the thing out, boom, fucking fed him. And I sent Bill an instant message. I go, I think I got some of the Spiegel dust I brought back to the room and got him to eat.
Just the threat of sending to me kicked it in.
So, yeah, funny story, true story.
So you paid your dues to the Chondro gods.
Yeah.
And then some.
Which never ends, by the way.
No.
Yeah. So you know, obviously, I went deep into your IG account, and it looks like your most recent post is 2020, because I'm trying to see where a lot of your stuff came from. So what's this snake? And like, can we talk about some of the beginner snakes that you posted on your IG?
So the reason why I actually got an IG account, because I'm not a social media guy, was just you know, I'm like, well, I gotta, you know, meet some people, so I gotta make an account, and that's kind of how that happened. So it's just snake related, and I've met a lot of great people through it, and yeah.
Let me just be the first to say this is a beautiful yellow neonate.
Yeah, that's a Texas born.
Where's this came from? Is this from Matt Morris, or who's this from?
Ryan Glenn.
Ryan Glenn, what a guy. We don't have we need this. We need Ryan Glenn on the show, man.
Shout out to Ryan Glenn. It's another funny story with that. I was just buying a red off him, and you know, we were chatting. He's like, you know, these, you know, potential high yellow clutches, you know, it'd be a good idea to get a red and a yellow. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So I bought the red and the yellow, and that yellow's outstanding. So thank you, Ryan, for pushing me into that.
What's this one right here? This is fucking nasty.
That
Dude,
one's what the hell is this? California.
Came from California.
Luke Snake Walker.
Yeah, Luke. Hey, Luke's that dude. That's
Luke Maya. Shout out to Luke Maya.
Yeah, he's in LA. He's not far from me. He's like a couple hours from me.
Yeah,
that's
Luke. So that's no, that's a son of Bill's freight train, and the sire to this are siblings.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I thought that snake looks really familiar.
Crazy Train, I think, is what he calls his sire to this one.
Crazy Train. Yep. Wow.
What's the bloodline on it?
It's John Irby, Soul Train to something.
Striptease, maybe.
Yes, I think so. I'm not 100%.
That's what Freight Train is.
Yeah, so it's that the sire to this is a direct sibling to your Freight Train.
Okay.
Damn, they kept the train name going. That's tight. Crazy Train, Freight Train.
Yeah, so I think Soul Train was the dad. I think.
Yeah.
Gravy Train. Somebody needs to name one Gravy Train.
I like Gravy Train.
What's this one right here? This looks freaking beautiful.
That is what's his name? Another Garrick, House of Blue.
Oh, this is the House of Blue production?
Yeah. So those that was actually that's my son's.
I see you like Cali, man. That's awesome. You're favoring the Cali keepers for once. Jeez. It's all about Texas and Florida.
Texas and Florida.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Nobody gives Cali love for anything. So I'm just messing. What about this the same one that from Luke and it's now like losing some of the black, or is this a different?
No, that's John Irby Banjo to Mercury.
Dang.
Yeah, that thing.
Nice.
Wait till you see what that looks like now. It's up my page somewhere.
Wow. So this has moved up a little bit. You got a current one. Yeah, because I'm pretty down deep, but you have some amazing shit that I can't skip through. Like, look at this high yellow right here. This was a red neonate, right?
That is that's a special one right there. Yeah, she was a red baby. She's solid yellow.
That's epic.
Incredible. What is that from?
John Leckie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was
that yellow stuff is unmatched.
So it was one of his high yellow males to actually a high yellow Biak that he got from Buddy Buscemi, I believe.
What the fuck is this thing?
That's a Bill Stiegel production.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Leave it to Bill. Wow, look at this thing, dude. I gotta see
another one that got away.
Yeah, sure.
Another one that got away from.
Is that a Jaeger? Is that a Jaeger baby?
Yeah, Jaeger biscuit.
Oh my god, bro. Talk about lottery babies. Get a Jaeger biscuit fucking Neo and you're playing the lottery for sure. It's insane.
Rest in peace. Those are no longer available.
But the blood's out.
The blood is there, a lot of it.
The blood is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome snake. I love that one.
And I'm pretty sure, God bless, Jaeger has quite the shoes to fill, but I'm pretty sure Jaeger made a better version of himself out there somewhere. If not, Bill, you might already have a better version of Jaeger, or no, you think?
Yeah, I do. The sickness.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Point. Yeah. What a
100%.
legend. What a legend. All right, let's move forward. Wow, is this the high yellow that you mentioned earlier that is kind of like an updated photo in a sense?
Yeah, that's the same Ryan Glenn snake. Yep.
Wow, look at this. This is one thing I saw at Bill's for the first time, like this computer chondro type looking fucking thing, which I've been meaning to ask you what that looks like now, Bill. But what's the story with this snake here, Dan?
Oh, boy.
That's the same one?
Is it the same one?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if there's any literature on it. Or...
It doesn't say. No, it just says Happy Friday, everyone.
Oh, okay. I might have had a few martinis in me. I don't know. What the hell is that?
Oh, man. We'll keep it moving. Let's see. Is this one?
Yeah, she's nice. That's a female I have. Long tail. Actually, the side of my clutch, that's a full sister sibling. I think she was the pick of the litter. She's really nice.
Oh my God! So are any of your babies on here? Because you have quite the stock, man. Like you got some.
Yeah, my baby.
Here we go.
Yeah, there they are.
These are the 3 out of the 18, right? Or no,
this is the recent clutch. I had.
Oh, cool.
13. I got 10 of them out of it.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So
I like the cherry red.
Yeah.
So when I started my IG account, I had just hatched those babies. So I think there's some pictures of them as adults in there. Yeah, there it is.
So they're grown up now, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're 4.5, 5, whatever.
What are these? One of them?
No, that's a calico male.
Who's that from?
Ed Appel, another Cali.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, dude, he's got that line that he's got is
Yeah.
super. Is it the Gold Rush or the Gold River? I forget what.
Yeah, Gold River. Yeah.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
I've known
fucking
Ed a
nuts.
long time. He's produced some
That
nice
thing's
stuff.
crazy. That one's
is-
crazy.
This is insane.
That
Oh
one,
wow.
yeah, that's a Christian Stewart production.
Damn. You got
That's
the heat,
badass.
brother.
Yeah, she's.
So Dan,
really
how did you go about getting all these? Did you just because I mean, like, these are not. Yeah, these snakes are, like you put
Money.
together a pretty nice collection there.
Money,
yeah,
Mark,
just
money.
over the
Money.
years, getting stuff, making the right connections, getting lucky with some picks. I guess, in a sense.
Pretty impressive, man. I mean, sometimes it takes more than money,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you need to. I guess some luck and timing, and
Definitely luck.
making the right connections and chatting, and I've met a lot of great people definitely through this community.
Is that the same yellow snake right there in the upper left?
Yeah, that's the that high yellow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's a sibling to it. That was a yellow baby.
So
And those were you said from John Leckie?
That's a Bill Stiegel production you just went by.
this one right here.
No, the to the left.
This one?
That one, yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
Is that Jaeger also?
Yeah, that's Jaeger biscuit too.
Same clutch.
That's badass. So he's like Versace, and then he can throw all different kinds of. A lot of blue, a lot of black, yellow.
A lot of random shit. Yeah, that's why you can't go wrong with that kind of blood, man. Even if that's why I'm not even like, yeah, right. We want something crazy, but if a snake even goes green, but it has siblings that look like that, I'm not pissed. Are you kidding me? Like, I know that thing's packing heat, and I feel like,
yeah,
I know a lot of people always kind of kick rocks when they feel like, oh, my snake just turned green, but if it has fucking Jaeger blood in it or anything insane, then dude, who cares? Breed that shit. Watch what happens.
Yeah, the genetics are there, the bloodlines.
Yeah, they don't leave. Now I gotta ask you this though. How okay, so like for instance, let's say you have a crazy potent genetic designer chondro that's just maybe on the greener side of things. But then let's say you produce another one that is green. Does that potent genetic start to like fizzle away after a while, you guys feel like, or does it stick around, or does it depend what you pair it to? Like, how does that work, Bill? Like, how do you I guess dilute the designer in a potent animal, I guess?
Well, I think a lot of it is dependent on what you pair it to. But then again, you can pair that stuff up and have two relatively green snakes that produce crazy stuff. I've seen that too.
Right.
So, I mean, I think, best case scenario, you get crazy to crazy. But, then you get crazy to green, and then you get green to green from great genetics, and all that stuff can produce crazy stuff.
I think the percentages are probably less, right? Like if you breed
Absolutely.
crazy to crazy, like
Absolutely.
you're going to get whatever, 50% are going to be like off the charts. You breed, green to green, maybe you'll get 1 out of 10 or 1 out of,
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to be fair from now on, guys, because I was on this whole train about like the darker the red, the more guaranteed. I guess that's all fucking horse shit. Apparently, according to Alex Warren, who aggressively was in my DMs telling me how he's seen multiple dark red neonates just go basic green, which I still think he's fucking overreacting. But I guess I don't know, Bill, is that true?
I've seen everything, literally, not just from what I've kept, but from what I've released. I've seen everything. I've seen, we talk about it all the time. Last pick, from a Jaeger clutch turned out to be probably the best animal he's ever produced. And he was a very normal looking red baby. So again, I'm not going to throw everything out. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, don't hold back super dark reduced neos because I still think that's your best bet. But it certainly isn't a guarantee.
Back in the day, I had first pick from Greg Maxwell's, I think it was Calico Dream clutch, and I purposely picked the most plain Jane looking one out of all of them because it looked more like, I forget if it was the mom or the dad that I liked. as a baby. And it turned out super nice. Like some of the other ones did turn out better from that litter or from that clutch, but you never know.
You never know.
But I've always heard more stories of a simple looking red Neo going to a whole nother insane level versus an insane looking red Neo going basic green. You don't see a lot of those cases, but also we're talking about depending on the pairing here. I'm talking John Irby babies and shit, and like, some of the stuff you produced, Bill and Marshall. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess anything's possible, right? You've seen it all, but my money's more betting on if that thing is a fucking black neonate, that thing's not going to turn basic green. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I will bet that it doesn't,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you go with the odds, but the odds aren't overwhelming. Yeah,
and it could fucking really hurt sometimes. It all depends how you look at it. But how big is your collection, Dan? Because like it feels like we were scrolling through a lot of awesome stuff. So how many adults do you have? What's your ratio, females, male, and all that stuff?
I was male. It seemed like all the unsexed stuff I was getting, buying babies, raising them up. I was getting a lot of males popping out, and that's why it was nice when they had the genetic sex thing that was going on there.
Shoot.
You were able to buy babies. I got them from Bill. He used to be able to get them sexed as babies. Christian Stewart, John Irby. It was nice because I wanted to get some females, because a lot of stuff was popping male that I had been acquiring. So that was a great tool. It sucks. I don't know where that's on the forefront, Bill. You would know more than me with that.
Yeah, it's dead in the water.
Dead in the water. That's too bad. That sucks.
What, the shed thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just going to cost money out the ass for not much of, I guess, what you're looking for, right, Bill? It's not really worth it.
Well, and what I kind of come to find out is that as a breeder, it really makes it harder on you, because I had during those, I think maybe 3 years, at least 3 years, I was able to get the babies sexed, but everybody was very specific. I want a red female, or I want a blaze yellow male, and it really it made it harder to get people exactly what they wanted. I'm just talking honestly. It was nice because I could pick my holdbacks a little bit better, but in the long run, it doesn't really turn out. If you hold back enough, you're going to get a pretty close to equal sex ratio. So
I don't think the Chondro game's meant to be Burger King. Like, you can't have it your way, dude.
You'll never have it your way.
No, not at all. No matter how much you try.
I think it was just a nice tool, I guess, from a buyer's standpoint. Like, say, I'll just talk about myself, for instance, where, I wanted to be able to acquire some females, because I had a lot of males. So that was great from a buyer's standpoint to, okay, I want to get, I can understand what you mean, Bill, from a breeder's standpoint, because everybody wants this, but it was just a nice tool to have for sure. If you want to build a certain thing, I need 4 or 5 females or males, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Marshall?
I'm trying to remember what's the problem with it now, because it's weird how they were able to do it, and then now shed testing for ball pythons and is it just because that's where the money is doing the ball python thing, or
I can speak to this with quite a bit of knowledge, because I had a pretty close relationship with RGA for a while. So basically they were doing it, but it was very time consuming, and they were actually losing money. If you look on it, manpower,
what I figured.
Spend to do it. But they thought that they could eventually, what they wanted was a single shed analysis point, right? Like where they have other species where you didn't have to send the mother, the father, a known male sibling of the father. They were trying to work it where they could just send me a shed and I'll tell you what it is. But they could never figure that out with the Morelia species. And, they tried for a long time. And, Ben is probably, the smartest guy on the planet, to try to figure something like that out. And he was not able to. And he worked on it for a long, long time. And then about that time, the ball python, shed stuff became really crazy. And I'm sure it just, it was much more priority for them, and, economically for them to go that route, which I completely
So
understand.
what did you have to send them for them to figure it out? Sheds from both the parents?
Both the parents and a known male sibling of the sire.
Okay.
Yeah. And even when you did that, it took them evidently a long time to work with that, a lot of man hours to put the pieces together, for that particular pairing. Now, once they had it down, then like if you had, because I had, repeat pairing from Jaeger Biscuit, they already had all the information on the parents. And so, then 2 years later, when I sent just all the baby sheds, it was much easier, but, still, it's a lot of, working bricks to put in order and get things sorted out and all that.
All right, boys, we're going to cut to commercial, all right? So we'll see you guys in a bit. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Chee! One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. For the #1 PVC enclosures in the reptile game, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitats. Excited for today's sponsor, Focus Cube Habitats, #1 enclosures in the reptile game by far. Everything you see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC designed enclosures by Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. They're based out of Texas. If you head over to their website, you can select from over 30 plus different enclosure designs that they've done. Two of the hardest working people in the reptile hobby today, and I'm so excited to add more Focus Cube enclosures. So much again, Steven and Ashley. I appreciate the 5+ years of partnerships that we've had together. Looking forward to growing more. Head over to FocusCubeHabitats.com. Head over to their YouTube channel, subscribe, and check them out on Instagram. Thank you so much, Focus Cube Habitat. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website, see what he has available green tree python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Chee! All right, so overall, Dan, are you happy with your current sex ratio, or is there a certain male or female holdback mission that you have going with what you need? What's going on overall with what you are after?
No, now I think I'm pretty good now because like I said, I was able to in those few years, like Bill was talking about, stack, get a bunch of females. So that's helped greatly, and we'll see what stuff comes out of what I produce. Hopefully, actually, I'd like a couple of males out of this one if they go the direction I want them to. Hopefully.
Good, Marshall.
Did you end up with those just by chance, or did you purchase them as females because you were able to buy sex babies?
No, like I say, I bought the females because we would be able to use that shed genetic test.
Okay.
Yeah. So Christian, Bill, John Irby, you know, they all had, you know, they all were doing it back, you know, 5 years ago, whatever it was.
I mean, going back to the point I was making earlier, I mean, what direction did this head? This is 39 weeks ago. Okay, so what is this? What does this thing look like?
Yeah, that's the Christian Stewart female. That crazy one. That's
wow.
That's a sibling to Alex's Gasanova, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
This is a sibling.
And what line is that from?
Wow.
That's his Velvet to SH09169. That was produced some awesome animals out of that clutch.
Every one that I've seen has been awesome.
Everyone that I've seen is insane.
Yeah,
that's badass.
I think the only time I've ever been.
Does Carly have an animal from that clutch as well?
She does. It's a really, really crazy.
I think she bought it as, you know, recently.
Changed. Yeah.
That couldn't have been cheap.
Oh, she bought it changed? Oof.
Yeah. You want to see it? Shit's fire, bro. This shit is not joke.
It's heavy black in it.
Yeah, it's not changing, I don't think. I mean, obviously there's going to be probably some maybe difference, but that's a very high.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Shout out to Carly. So you know, overall, like, what's your strategic move with the pairings that you plan on doing here in the near future? Well, first and foremost, before we get to that, how many pairings do you have going this year, Dan?
I did 4. 2 I'm pretty confident with. The third one I'm on the fence. And my repeat is the one that nothing happened with. So go figure.
The repeat.
So you're waiting for eggs or waiting for ovulations or what?
Eggs.
Oh, so you already had ovulations.
Yeah.
All right.
One of them. It's hot. She's a big, good sized Biak.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been fucking in here all the time. I'm obsessed over the stuff, trying to figure out stuff. And I don't think that I witnessed her ovulation, but everything else is on point with what they do. So hopefully, I know, like MJ, you've had some not give you a pre-lay shed and lay eggs. So I hope that's not the case with her. I've never had that happen.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think skipping a pre-lay shed means instant like fucking badness. It kind of throws things off a little bit, like, you know, what I went through this year. But like, you know, it is something I'd rather have a shed. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I don't think I witnessed an ovulation with her. So a shed would be great because, okay, well, eggs should be coming at some point. I can get the box in.
I got a question. When was her last meal? Do you know?
About a month ago.
And she hasn't. She's for sure off. Like she's
off, and she's probably my nastiest animal that I have. So
it means
you'll get something.
Yeah, she's about to ovulate.
Or I'm gonna pull a page out of Bill's book. She's gonna drop dead. I don't know. We'll see.
One or the other, or maybe both.
Yeah, maybe both. Right. Hopefully both. If it has to happen, hopefully both.
No offense, but when I think of drop dead snakes coming from a friend, I think of Marshall. I don't think of Bill. Just saying.
Ouch.
Just saying, he's wished a lot on me, and it's happened.
I have not wished anything on you.
Not wish. I'm sorry. That's a little extra. He's predicted.
Predetermined.
Predicted. There you go.
Yeah, I like that saying that Bill has. Well, I don't know. She's not eating, and everything looks good. She's either going to give me eggs or she's going to die. I don't know. That's what I meant by it.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy.
I can't tell you how many ovulations I've missed over the years. Like,
me too.
I catch about 50% of them, maybe.
I've missed them.
So one of them I caught. This one here, though, has got me. The Biak female's throwing me for a loop.
I think I'm missing a bunch of locks, but I guess that's hopeful thinking, because I'm seeing a lot of, like, you know, cuddling and like deep cuddling, like, you know, on the males, like in there.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that fucking, you know, the drop. And so, but then again, I'm just, you know, hands are in the air and let's see what happens. I hope I'm not just getting a bunch of fucking, like, you know, cuddle puddles in the friend zone type shit with these goddamn snakes, but we'll see.
Well, I will say with my pairing, you know, last year that I hatched the babies out, I never saw that beautiful traditional long 6-8 inch tail hang lock in a twine, beautiful looking. Never saw that with them. They were always on top of each other. You know, I was in there with never saw that traditional.
Like move.
Yeah. This year, I had tons of tail hanging, beautiful locks. So I was happy finally, first year that I see these come in and all these nice drop tail hang locks. It's exciting.
I mean, they make cool pics. God damn it! You
Awesome,
know?
awesome things.
Otherwise, it's like, okay, you're showing cool snakes cuddling. Like that's
So. Back to you. Even though you don't think you're witnessing it, it does take place because that's what happened to me last year.
Yeah, that's why at the end of the day, listen, if they're on top of each other, it's better than being on the other side of the enclosure. So
exactly.
Hey Dan, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your incubation.
Yeah.
Like, what's been your success rate? Like when you get eggs, are most of those babies hatching, and how are you incubating?
So the original group that I hatched the 3 eggs out, I had a homemade setup, and I hatched a bunch of ball pythons in that, and then after that took place about a year later, and I ended up buying a sea serpents rack. So the only clutch that I've hatched in that, so I bought that like 2 years ago. So I hatched this past April's clutch out in that, and I had 14 babies she laid. One of them I knew was junk, but I put it in there and it went to shit quick. The other 13, one of them ended up, so that one went to shit quick. So out of the 13, how did that work out? 2 of them came out of the egg and died. One of them was fully developed, dead in the egg, and 10 hatched.
All right, that's good.
Well, so 12 hatched, but 2 came out and died. The other one was dead in the egg. So
I take that.
They're substrate or what?
I did them over water, suspended over water.
And you ventilating the tub the entire time, or towards the end? Or
I didn't ventilate at all. I'll pop the top off every 2 days, 3 days, depending on the condensation, and just to breathe them, burp them or whatever. And at like 43 or so days, I cracked the top slightly on it to give it some ventilation, and dropped the temp slightly, and that's what I did.
what temps are you looking at, like at the beginning, and then when you drop?
So the box, I got the the gauge in the box, and then went out. So that was 87 the whole time, and I had the incubator set for with a probe 87, just out in the middle of the chamber, and the box kept 86, 87, and then towards the end, so I dropped the incubator a full degree
towards the end.
43 days, somewhere in there, 44 maybe.
So it's like a week before due date.
A week before they have, exactly.
It's pretty, I mean, everybody that we have on, pretty standard. I mean, that's a pretty standard.
What did you drop it to, you said?
I dropped it a full degree. And
what?
To 86.
Okay.
Yeah, from 87 to 86.
And you're getting them pipping it like day 50?
Yeah, so they picked, it was day 50, right on the money.
Yeah.
Yep. They all
pretty standard. I mean, we've heard a lot of people do a lot of different things, but if I had to put everybody together, that's pretty standard, pretty typical regiment.
I think the less that you fuck with them and mess with them, I mean, not that I have tons of experience, I think less is more with these, personally.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
With the incubation part.
I missed that. What was less is more?
Hatching the babies or with incubation, anyways. I think less is more. The less you fuck, I've heard a lot of stories talking with different people, and they fuck with a lot of stuff. And
yeah, because dude, I was definitely one of them. I think my biggest problem of taking so long to have success with chondros was because I fucked with my incubator for like the first 2-3 years of. Because there was always, you're hearing different techniques, right? And all I wanted was success. And so you hear how one person does it, and then they're like, no, don't do it that way. And then you're like, holy shit. And then you panic. And so I do know, like, if you are doing something and like you already have eggs in there and someone's telling you to do something different, you're better off just waiting for the next clutch. Like, don't fucking like just figure it out, But I used to like panic, man, and a lot of it was being new and people telling me, oh, you're not ready for chondros, basically what I tell people now. So, it's just, you get overexcited and you also hear how like hard it is, right? You hear people like, oh, keeping them is the easy part. Hatch them first, and then you're like, oh, hatching them is the easy part. Get them to eat first, and you hear all these goddamn crazy challenges to where like you think getting the eggs is a feat, and it's really not. Like getting eggs is okay. That's step one, right? But the steps only get more severe as you go along, and so it's better just to chill out and just take it as it comes. But man, having an incubator that's dialed in before you get clutches, super crucial. Do that.
Yep.
Wait,
100%.
Yeah, do that right away, please. That's important. Wow, look at this. We got Sal in the building. We got UK in the building tonight. What's up, Sal?
Wow, we got Big Sal in the house.
He's not sleeping. He's not sleeping for sure tonight. I love
It's like
Sal.
3 a.m. there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cracking.
I think DeLuca was in here earlier too. So yeah, we've got a good European presence.
Sal just got home from the club.
Jeffy's here and JP representing Canada.
Yeah, shout out to the boys, man.
Nice.
Yeah, but no, definitely less. I feel like once you get to the point where your incubator's set, leave, just fucking step away, man.
I think you
go ahead.
I think you gotta get that thing set up to where you want it. Couple test boxes, see how you're gonna do it or wherever you want to have it at. And once you get it there, hopefully it's prior to the eggs coming. Just put the eggs in and just don't fuck with it. I think your success rate will be higher that way.
Hey, Sweden's in the building too.
Sweden too.
We got global trappers who are like, yo, do not fucking sleep on my country and my bad guys. All right, we got Sweden, Germany. I love all you guys. You guys are awesome, bro. You guys are really awesome.
A lot of Europeans.
So speaking of a lot, the way the chondro community's been growing in the last couple years. How do you feel about that, Dan? Like, what have you seen growth wise?
It seems like a lot of people are curious and they want to get into it, and seems like a lot more people are, whether they're converting or they're just jumping in and they don't have any other snake experience. It seems like it's growing from what I see.
What led you to chondros? Because you mentioned earlier, we didn't get into like how you got into snakes and all that, but how you kept other species, obviously.
Yeah, I've always been since I was a little kid. I don't know why I was always infatuated with reptiles, snakes, and stuff, and catching them, and I'd keep them in my father's little buckets and stuff with the plywood from garter snakes, milk snakes, stuff like that. So I've always been a fan of reptiles, and I think it was around 2000. Actually, my first I think my first snake I bought for my son was a boa constrictor, and then my second one was a green tree.
Now, I forgot. I wanted to ask you because you told me that your first experience hatching green tree pythons was basically just your pets at that time. But where did you get those snakes from?
Those were imports.
From who though? Like, who'd you get them imported from?
From Nerd.
Oh, wow! Holy shit!
We don't hear that very often on this.
Hey, my first chondro came from Nerd.
Is that right?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah,
Man.
first one.
92?
98.
Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to be
I've got you beat. My first chondro was from Joe Montini.
Wow.
Damn. My first chondro was from some random.
Well, at least I was a captive, though, Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine came from a random.
So was mine. That's what I was told.
I doubt it.
So, as far as like, imports now, right? Obviously there's people who look into getting a chondro and they see quite the price difference, right? If you had a close friend that lived next to you, curious about getting an import, what would you tell that person, Dan? Like, what would be your advice to someone who is like, I'm not spending thousands right now. I'd rather maybe spend 500,
I will just say that I wouldn't advise it, but I've had bad experience, bad source, whatever you want to call it, and I've gone through a lot of shit with that. So I wouldn't be the guy to talk to ask that. I would say no. I would go with captive born, 100%.
Damn.
But that's just what I went through. I hear people, there's great importers out there. I actually was talking to Alex when I was out at Bill's place. He was talking about Dan Malaria. I guess he's a great guy to get him from. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing it now just for my own, because I got to.
I will say, all the people that we've had on here, a lot of them have pretty good luck with. I mean, I think I've had more people say they have heard more people since we've been, talking to people on the show, more people that say they've had good luck with imports than, definitely
I think it's
terrible,
the
died,
source. I think it has to be the source. So,
Well, and Marshall, I think you get a little bit of a skewed perspective. The people that we have on this podcast, right? Their experience with
true, right?
green trees.
We're talking first purchases. Okay.
Marshall is speechless.
did Marshall go? What happened? He went blank.
No, sorry, you guys glitched out on me there for a second.
In 5 seconds, I was like, he has to say something. I'll wait.
You glitched out.
Marshall's having a Biden moment.
I didn't.
He's having an Android moment, aka Biden moment.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah, listen, but Marshall is right, because you do have people who say they've had maybe more luck with imports, but there's still bad luck. There's still that bad luck that's involved, no matter what. Like you take the good with the bad. You fuck with imports long enough, you are going to see the bad for sure. It's just a matter of time.
Well, you have quite a bit of experience with imports, so
I have a shit ton. Yes.
What's your take on it? Like you bought captive, you bought imports.
Yeah, I've gotten my first importer was Joe Switalski. What a guy, right? Fucking but thing was, I had a relationship with this guy where if something came in fucked up, he took care of it right away. And then I come to find out years later he wasn't doing that for a lot of other people. So maybe I just got lucky, because I do have, I would say, about 6 females that I've gotten from him are in behind me in this cage, and I've gotten them from I think that era was like 2018 to like 2020. I was just getting imports because I thought, I was like, shit, $400 compared to $2,000-$3,000 or whatever, but also I had ones that weren't making it, like I said, but I snapped on this dude. Like if he sent me something that was dead, I would go full fucking MJ on the guy, and it worked. He fucking would fix it. But apparently a lot of other people don't go full MJ, and they just take the dead animal and they never message them. I don't recommend that. I recommend you fucking go full MJ and either get a refund or get that animal, replaced. And so, but mind you too, bro, like that's a wild game I was playing. Back then I didn't know about nido testing, about any of that shit. And luckily when I did meet Sock, and I think it was 2021 is when I nidoed all my adults. I did all nido testing on everything. And that was probably one of the scariest months of my life, because I was really worried, like hearing a lot about the podcast and hearing shit. And I was wondering, I remember, I don't know if you ever heard who Forrest Fanning was, Dan.
Yeah. Yep.
But Forrest,
big fan of his.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Forrest. And when he came over to my room, my snake room for the first time, first thing he says when he walks in, he's like, yeah, there's nido in this room. And I was like, why would you say that? And he's like, I'm just telling you the truth, man. Like, I know who you got your stuff from, and there's nido in this room. And I'm like, holy shit. And so that really rocked my world. But it's just, it's just a kind of the true stuff that you need to hear when it comes to you just buying imports. Like it's just a dangerous game to play. You know what I mean?
Well, we live in a different time now, with nido testing, and, we mentioned Dan, and I have not got any animals from Dan, but Alex has, and his animals from him, even though they're imports, they come accurately sexed and they come nido tested.
Yeah, so, let me just say that as well. Okay, the best other than Gary Scavino, but I don't look at Gary as an importer first and foremost. I get like really nice, captive bred animals from Gary. But Dan Mallory, I was the first person who showed me the best example of what an importer should be like. He was he was the man, and still is the man. And I've never seen anyone vend at a show with over 50 chondros at their booth, all with nido tests individually. That was impressive. I'm not gonna lie. And I bought one of those snakes, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to. I just think it comes down to the source and who you're dealing with.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we got the options that you have nowadays.
Yeah,
unless you're just really broke and you just need an outlet, which that was kind of me. I had no money, man, but I was obsessed with the chondros. So another reason why I did what I did, because that's all I could afford, really. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's all I could really afford. So I don't really knock anyone down, but then again, understand that whatever you can afford could get even worse with vet bills and everything else. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's weird.
You go down a rabbit hole and ugly.
But going back to you saying, I feel like if you go through Dan Mallory, I think you're in a good place. I think if you really want to get an import, you go to somebody like Dan who cares about his name and has a great fucking name. Like I haven't heard any shit about Dan, and I hear shit about everybody. Like I don't hear shit about Marshall or Bill. I love these guys, but I'm just saying I don't hear nothing about Dan. The guy's a good importer. So it all depends who you give your money to, man. You vote with your bucks.
Yep.
So.
Definitely.
So, what's the most you want to produce in a year? Like, I know you went 4 pairings this year, 2 look good, but like, let's speed things up in the next few years. Like, how big, Dan, are you looking to go each year if you can?
I mean, I think, I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, if everything's going to take, I mean, I think 3 sounds like a decent number to me for now.
3 clutches?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Coming from the ball python world, 3 clutches, that's like a real small number, but holy shit. When it comes to chondros, that's work. As we look at Marshall, Marshall got this. He has 2 clutches.
Jesus.
And look,
he got like 6 clutches.
Big clutches.
Dude, 2 big clutches, you got your work cut out for you, buddy, for sure. But yeah, Marshall, like for instance, like if you knew there were 2 more ovulations like already going down, like how would you feel about 2 more clutches coming? Would you like be like, all right, bring it on? Or would you be like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to sell to the public?
I mean, I would, luckily mine happened kind of off season from the ball pythons. So if I can do the chondros first and see, if I could get 3 or 4 clutches, I would do 0 of anything else. So it's nice to have them kind of staggered, like I'm still 3 months away from pairing any ball pythons up.
What's your capacity you feel like, Bill? Like, let's say like if whatever, you can have as many as you fucking want. Like, what do you feel like your capacity is at this stage in your career?
Between me and Alex, like 100 babies.
And that would be about at least like maybe 8 to 10 clutches, maybe, or maybe 7 to 10.
Probably 8 clutches. I'd be excited about it, but a little small part of me would be worried about it too.
It's a lot of babies, man.
Babies.
And Dan, since you're at where you're at, like, is there anything you're still on the hunt for to add into your collection? Like, do you have other bloodline that you don't have in the mix yet that you're after, or like what's the project? The future goals of your projects look like?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind grabbing it's hard to get Dave D animals. Like everything we post, everything's gone. So mind just to have something like that.
Are you part of his email listing? Like, do you get his email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like they got, he hasn't posted one in a while, but yeah, I'm part of that. They're gone quick. It seems like Jesus. Good.
I want that problem.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. No, I got. I mean, I have some plans. I just want to create some nice looking stuff that's healthy and thriving, and put them in the hands of some good people. People getting into it, people that are into it.
And so you sold about how many Neos at this point?
I've actually sold 1, and I'm holding back the other ones for now. I mean, I haven't listed them for sale, but I wouldn't, not opposed to selling a couple more of them.
I don't know, I'm assuming yellows, or they're going to be reds.
No, I have, a couple of the ones that I was going to post and sell, they're starting to look really nice. So I have a couple of 2 yellows, 1 yellow I'm going to keep for sure. And I'll probably let 1 more red go.
And where did the yellow red stand with you? Like, I mean, do you feel like you have a good eye when it comes to looking at the yellow neonates that you should hold back, or is it all shot in the dark as well? Or what do you feel like?
Yeah, I don't, the yellows, no. And even, I mean, I don't have an eye for any of that. I don't think. It's kind of hard to, yellows definitely not. It's hard to decipher what you think they're going to look like. And these, you guys have hatched a ton. I don't know about Marshall with yellows, but Bill's hatched a ton of stuff. So the eye for picking out something that's going to go extremely high yellow.
I'm definitely yellow blind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Bill looks at yellows.
No, I mean, listen, I've released some incredible yellow babies, but I don't really
have one.
Yeah, you have one, but I don't really have a good eye to pick out, a strong yellow.
Same.
I got a question,
Yeah,
Dan. I'll go ahead, Marshall.
No, good.
I was going to ask you, Dan, do you have any yellow neonate to yellow neonate pairings that you're like looking forward to doing, or maybe have already done, or is it always going to be mixed with red, yellow, red, yellow?
Well, my original pairing that I did, that I got the 3 babies from, that was a yellow to yellow. It was
so no, yellow neonates.
Yeah, female Aru to a Misol male.
Remind me of Misol? What is that? Where's that look like? What is
I'm
Misol?
I'm not 100% sure where it is in the
like a Maruki?
In the region there.
I thought they looked kind of like a kind of Biak. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know about localities.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was a really nice looking male. I don't have him anymore, but got some offspring, and they're pretty cool looking.
Okay, but like that was your first pairing. What I'm talking about right now. Would you do any yellow to yellow pairings now?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yellow, you know, 2 nice looking high yellow adults, yellow to yellow. Yeah, for sure.
This still doesn't help me, Patrick. What is Raja Ampat? What does that mean? Does anybody know what does that mean?
Raja Ampat. It's in that region.
Oh, thank you. I just learned something. So
it's southern. They're southern.
Okay.
So closer to Australia. So they're
Are
great.
they bearded?
Yeah, what are they? What species are they?
Yeah, Ryan Young would probably know in Pat.
They got to be Viridis.
Poultry.
Okay.
They look green like Kofiau.
Yeah, they do.
Northern, not southern. Northern. Thank you for Patrick. Oh, great. Patrick's calling me again. I'm just kidding. So when it comes to locality stuff, do you have a locality that you've always kind of like favored, or locality's not really, you know, something you even look into?
No, I mean, I think they're, you know, a lot of them are beautiful. The first 2 snakes I bought were both Aru females, and
nice.
That was my original one that I got the eggs from. I still have her. She's fucking beautiful snake. She's pretty blue. You know, she went through that hormonal change, and it's a different color, but it's pretty neat. Yeah. No, I like the Arus. I like the Kofi Isles. Yeah, those are probably my 2, I would say, if I had to pick a. I love those Marukes. Those are fucking impressive.
Marukes are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those
really
Australians with that fucking white and yellow circles all the way. Oh, those are incredible looking.
You talk to an Australian keeper, and that's kind of like they kind of yawn at those. Not fully, but then here we are like with BX that they would fucking kill for. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird how like
we always want what we don't have.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. That's how it works. But listen, let's get to wrap up topic time. I'll go first, and then we'll get to Bill and Marshall next. But you know, with the popularity with chondros, and let's just say that we get people who are and we will get people who are more successful at breeding chondros. Where do you see the market heading with the designer stuff? And when I say market, like designer stuff, I mean like the Potent, Christian Stewart, the Bill Stiegel productions, the Marshall Mendez stuff, like the John Irby. Like, do you ever feel like it's going to adjust at some point, or do you feel like it's going to stay strong where it's at, Dan?
It seems to be pretty strong, actually. Green trees in general have, you know, from way back when, have always seemed to have kept. I don't think, you know, like if you're going to compare it to like a ball python pricing or whatever, it seems that green trees have always just gone north from what I've seen.
Yeah. And Bill, Marshall, I want your take on that as well. Where do you guys really see things headed right now?
Go ahead,
Bill,
Marshall.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, if we just look at history, you know, I think Dan's right.
Yeah.
I do think there was a lull. You know, we've had people on here that have been in it longer than I have, and I'd prefer Marshall's opinion over mine because he's been at it and seen it more than I have. But I think there was a lull, but certainly in the last, you know, 5 to 10 year period, you know, they've done nothing but become more popular, more mainstream. And with that popularity comes demand. And we certainly haven't been able to oversaturate the market yet.
Yeah, I guess the only thing, you know, I've seen them, it seems like I don't remember them ever really going down. I know we've had some people on here that have said, you know, there was a time when, you know, there was a dip, but, you know, like the most I ever paid for any snake, I think was $5,000 something like that. And that was back in 2000 and, you know, I don't know, it was whenever Greg Maxwell was getting out. It was one of the last clutches that he produced. And I think what you said earlier, you know, they're becoming more mainstream, more people, more demand, but there's also a lot more people having success with them. It seems like. So I don't think they're ever going to be, you know, I could see it going down a little bit from what it's been the last couple of years, just because it seems like there's more people that are producing them, but I don't think it's going to go, you know, it's not going to tank. I think that it would, you know, if anything, it goes down a little bit, and you can't, you know, the nicest babies instead of 10 grand or, you know, 5 grand or 7 grand, something like that.
I do think also, you know, and MJ, you know, you would have your finger on the pulse better than me, but even the ball python market, the super high end stuff now, you know, the super desirable stuff, you know, it may have come down a little bit, but, you know, people like Justin and Bob Vu and, you know, the leaders in that particular industry, you know, those guys aren't having trouble selling their high end stuff. So I think there could become a time where there's a little bit of a dichotomy with low end stuff versus high end green trees.
Yeah,
but still, it's just.
I think, guys, what it comes down to is how many people are willing to go through years of not always being successful with chondros. Because listen, with ball pythons, it's unheard of. Like you're gonna breed every year. Ball pythons. The thing about high end ball python breeders is they breed ball pythons like with no issues. Okay, it's really easy to get fucking dialed in with ball pythons. But with chondros, it's so unpredictable. So how many people are willing to have success and they get kicked in the fucking balls right afterwards? And some people could go back and forth, like me, a little bit. But I'm just saying, not a lot of people can handle fucking dealing with that much failure, that much like high hopes, and then, you know, shit happens. Like it all depends, you know, where you stand.
They can bring you to the verge of insanity. You know, you don't hear about ball python clutches that go 55 days and then half the clutch crawl out of the egg and die.
Yeah, fully developed.
You just don't hear that very much, and
yeah,
you know, and it's not uncommon in incubating green tree eggs.
Yeah, and then also too, you know, ball pythons. We're talking numbers. We're talking about people who have fucking 20, 30 clutches. It's just, that's, you know, you got like, you know, a lot more favor on your side of having success, obviously, with the more numbers. But, you know, chondros, it's, you know, the more numbers, the more fucking chances you are of going through hell too. So it's not easy, man. But like I said, there are people who are for sure getting success at it. But Marshall, we talked about this. It's all about that repeat success. It's all about like, all right, you got your clutch, you got eggs, but like, can you do it again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a marathon, not a race. That's for sure. But Bill or Marshall, who wants to go next?
I was going to ask Dan, you know, if you had like one piece or a couple pieces of advice to new people coming in, you know, what would you advise them as far as animals to acquire, mentorship? You know, what would just be kind of some words of advice?
Yeah, I think the mentorship's great. There's a lot of info out there, and definitely you don't want to listen to 20 people when you know, it's one thing once you got into it and you kind of figured some things out, but I think, you know, listening to the right person, you know, getting a snake and you have a great experience off the get-go and that thing's bulletproof, and I think that gives you confidence and things roll from there. I think on the opposite end of that, you get into, you know, you buy from a shitty importer or whatever, and you have a horrible experience. Maybe you get a couple of snakes and you get mites everywhere, and you can have the complete opposite effect. So
yeah, I agree 100%. Early success and confidence is paramount.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can speak from, I had a tough go for a while and hung in there, and so on the other side now. So
yeah, I guess that's the only good thing about, like, when you have a lot of failures, that's on the user side of things. You learn from it and you just hang in there and you just know not to fucking do that again. Like, it's okay to make mistakes, but don't repeat that fucking mistake. Like, fix it, adjust it, and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
That's why it's great to have a good source or a few good sources to, you know, which, you know, you've great with the podcast. You know, get a lot of good guys on and solid.
The best. Only the best, Dan. We only bring the best here.
100%.
That's it.
So
If you think about it, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's key, you know, with you know, associating with the right people and having the, you know, the right advice being told to you, you know.
Go ahead, Marshall. What were you saying?
I was gonna say it takes a special kind of person too. I mean, think about, you know, how you know, not having success on your first couple of clutches, you know, you wait and it's a year, you know, and then you got to wait a whole nother year before you can try again.
Yeah.
So you got to, you know, it takes some dedication. You know, if you don't get lucky on your first attempt or first couple attempts, you know, to stick with it is tough. I mean, there's a lot of people that have success on their first one and then they fade out, right? You know, they don't stick around for long.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't see the type of thing they saw the first time. So, you know, like for instance, like Dan, you're talking about a repeat pairing that isn't doing shit. So what if somebody, that's all they have, and next year they're like, well, why aren't they doing anything? And then next year, guess what? They're still not doing everything. I mean, because you got to pay attention to the animal, like you know. You know, there's so many things that, or guess what? Maybe the female never lays again, and you don't know that. Like, there's things that you could do your best at, and it's still out of your hands, and you're like, you know what I mean? So,
and I was just talking about, like, I think Bill, that's what he was asking about, keeping wise, just getting into it, getting your first green tree, the breeding aspect.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, that's when things get hairy.
That's a whole nother ball game.
And I'm not talking about a good kind of hair like the natural women Marshall likes. I'm talking fucking, you know what I mean, the spiky stuff, the not good. You know what I mean? Love you, Marshall. I had to throw that.
Let's not drag Marshall's personal life into the end of the podcast. We don't need that.
Oh man,
Marshall, go wrap up topic.
All right, so you've got a bunch of different nice looking animals from different bloodlines, a bunch of different looks. How are you determining what you're pairing together? Are you doing it by phenotype? Or are you doing it by you think this bloodline would go well with that? I mean, because I'm just thinking, like, you know, you had some nice blue stuff. The animal from Christian was crazy. You got some nice high yellow stuff.
Yeah, I have a, you know, obviously have a few ideas on what I want to do, but I mean, I have enough of, you know, male to female ratio, so I can mix in some, you know, pretty cool pairings and hopefully produce some pretty nice, you know, top tier stuff.
So, like, what do you consider top tier? I mean, do you like high blue, high black?
What I like is, yeah, I mean, I like all of it. I got to be honest with you. I like the calico stuff. I love the high yellow stuff. I like the high melanistic, and you know, the blue stuff is awesome as well. So I think crossing some of that stuff, and then, you know, taking some of them offspring and breeding it into, you know, one of the calico females, or and see.
Can't wait to go back.
Producers.
I recognize that place.
Yeah, beautiful spot.
Hey, you want to hear about a story? I want me and Marshall smoking by that bar one time.
Is that when we called 911?
That's when the fucking ambulance showed up. What a time. And it was still daylight, not even dark out yet. Oh my God. You could get that wild at a Steagle party, just so you know.
I guess if you're talking about like the ultimate chondro, that you know, if that's kind of where you were leading, Marshall, I'm not sure. Like, I love to be able to produce something that's high yellow with a ton of melanism in it from a red, you know, reds. I think Socrates has got one that's mind blowing. It's like yellow with heavy melanin. I thought it was fake.
The manifester snake that he has?
No, that one's insane as well, but it's a different one. It's like, it looks yellow with a lot of melanism in it.
I want to see more of this shit for sure. This right here.
Yeah, that thing's crazy looking.
Yeah,
I would love to see
that.
more of this shit.
Seeing it in person, it's unbelievable.
And the whole name Velvet just matches so well. I know that's not the name of this snake, but like, holy shit, that Velvet is like, it's so on point. I don't know why, but this thing reminds me.
I'm hoping.
It's cool. It's cool too how it looks almost like a different color version of its baby self, right? Because, like, if I remember, didn't you pull up a picture of the baby earlier, MJ? And we're like, oh yeah, that one's going to be.
It was
So
like
all the dark, yeah, all the dark that it had going down the sides of its back is now blue.
Right there. You just passed it, MJ.
Right here.
Nope. Yeah, that's it. But the baby is up right there, right in the center.
Middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
right here, right here, right here. This is a chance.
I think I got the progression of it.
Oh my God, this right here, you know, shit's about to hit the fan.
So MJ, go back to that Neo pic.
This one right here?
No, one before that, I think. Before it.
Oh, this one?
So yeah, no, one before. So that. So like when I open up, you know, a hatchling box and I see something that looks like that, you know, that would be like my ultimate holdback looking animal right there.
That's not turning green, dude. Show me like Alex Warren. Okay, Ginger. Listen, nothing like this is turning green. I don't think so. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. There's no way. There's no way. I need proof.
No one didn't turn green.
I know for a fact. I know, but I just, it's hard for me to think something like look at the black on this neck. Okay, like look at that shit. There's just no chance in hell this snake's turning green, dude. Like, I don't know. I guess anything's possible, but if I have something like that, like Bill said, we're going to Disneyland. Like, God damn it, we're celebrating. Like we're all going to Red Lobster. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
That's awesome, bro. So listen, real quick before we let you go, Dan. This snake is a female, right?
That's a female, yeah.
And how far is it from breeding? You would say like maybe 2 years, a year out?
Probably 2. Yeah, she'll be 3 in April.
And does she have any of that red left? Is any of that red still around or no?
Yeah, that was a recent pick
this right here. This right here. Yep. She still has that red.
That's what she looks like right now.
Oh my God! So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like for instance, we have not seen a red neonate stay red in this fucking lifetime. Okay, but that right there, that's a good sign. Even though it's just
got a lot of yellow too. Like on the face.
Yeah, a lot of yellow undertone.
Yeah, it's a crazy looking snake because when it went blue and then it started doing all this wacky stuff. It's crazy.
But if you could work it out somehow where that red gets more and more and more and more and more, oh my God, bro, yellows are fucked. Yellow neonates will never hold a candle ever in their entire life to a red. I'm sorry, not that they will now. I'm just saying, like this right here gets me real excited for the designer chondro world for sure. So, man, you're not messing around, Dan. You are the man for sure. And the mayor gave you that nickname first and foremost, so it's official.
I appreciate that.
Dan the man.
Listen, you guys want to see a baby production?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do it. All right, you're gonna get the big screen. Don't get too nervous now, okay? Show and tell time. Show and tell time. So Dan, we can hear you and everything, okay, buddy? Take it away.
All right. So I don't know how it's coming out on your end.
Yeah, you're good. It looks good.
Yeah, so this is I think this was my top pick when they hatched and kind of numbered them that way.
How old, Dan?
So I want to say 8 months.
That's a big Neo, man. That Neo looks fucking great. That's a big Neo, right? Am I tripping? That looks like
he's
good size Neo.
Well, Dan is a small man, so
no, he's not.
Yeah.
Dan's a fucking beast, bro. He's not small.
And I'll grab one of these other ones. So this one's a little bit lighter. This one looks, I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but
dude, those look nice, bro. Those look like Biak.
yeah, this one's got a lot of yellow. It looks like it's coming through on. I don't know if it's picking it up on the video.
I could see it. It's like pixelized. You could see the yellows. You could see it in between the scales.
Yeah, even the body on the laterals, it's just like yellow bleeding through, which
dude, that's fucking
kind of
pretty
cool
right
looking.
there. So hold back, huh?
I think so.
Oh, I know what you're doing here. Oh, smart move.
I think so.
Well, I figured I know you guys like to see some stuff, so
we love it. Yeah, we love it. I encourage it. I really do.
Yeah.
I actually want to lean towards more show and telling because I love talking and stuff, but goddamn, I want to see some snakes. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's nice to see some stuff for sure.
Hey, listen, Dan, I'm glad we finally got you on the show. We just had shy of 80 people tapped in for tonight. So what do you have to, and by the way, I did get a lot of messages from people who really rock with you. So I got to say you are definitely a positive force in the Chondro community. So mad respect for that. What do you have to say to everyone out there who rocks with you, bro?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the support, and you know, I love talking Chondros. A great community. Always had positive experience. Met some awesome guys through this, and it's pretty cool. Like, you know, a lot of us wouldn't know each other. We were all brought together through snakes, and then we developed friendships, and it's pretty cool. You're hanging out in like Bill's backyard, having a beer, shooting the shit about. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
That's why I love the party. You know, it's that particular night. It's really all about the people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And if it's September, it's about getting in the fucking pool. Get in the pool. You know what I'm saying?
Getting in the Oasis pool
or the hot tub
or both back and forth. Yeah, that's I tell you right now. I'm not shy at all. At a Steagle Park, I'll be the first one to go in the pool because it's a good time. I love it. And I've had many moments, maybe because I'm pretty heavily intoxicated at a certain point, but I'm looking around. I'm just like, I cannot believe I'm here at Bill Steagle's house with all these sick ass fucking people just chopping it up nonstop about snakes. It's seriously one of the best times ever. I love it. Thank you.
We're gonna have a great one this September. The guest list is already starting to come in. DeLuca's going to be there from Germany. Sal's going to be there. Jaffe from Canada is going to be there this year. It's going to be a banger.
And I heard the smoking section's in the grass. Thank God.
Yeah. No more smoking on the concrete.
Oh boy, that was scary.
Oh, it was, man. All right, Dan. Best place to follow you would be Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram. I think you had the handle on there. Snake Man
78. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put the link
absolutely.
I put the link in the description below.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's definitely the best place to find me, and reach out. Absolutely.
Yep. Awesome, man. I appreciate you, Dan. I know this won't be the only time we'll have you on the show, but for now, guys, go on Instagram, follow him if you're not already. But give it up. It's a wrap for Dan the Man, ladies and gentlemen. Dan, thank you, bro.
Thanks, Dan. See you, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was a great night.
See you, bro.
See you at the Steagle party. Great time, man. Good show. Dan's a cool guy, bro. I like him a lot.
He is. Yeah, I talked to him quite a bit at Bill's. I seem to remember him and his wife or girlfriend. I'm not sure, but were there. I remember in Bill's kitchen pretty late.
Oh yeah. She's super sweet.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think overall of tonight's episode?
Oh, I knew it was going to be a good one. He's just such a good guy, very humble. The way that I see things, he messed around with the imports, but he's done it the right way. That collection, I had no idea really that he had as much of that.
Packets and heat.
I didn't realize it. Crazy collection.
It's one thing.
Packing heat for sure.
It's one thing, normally you see people like myself, like I came in imports because that's kind of what I was introduced with, but and not that I'm too cheap, but man, it's hard for me to drop 8K on a chondro after I've bought as many chondros as I had, and I see how quick one could die on you, right? If you're not careful. But for Dan to go from imports to hand picking some of the best fucking snakes from some of the best people doing it, that's quite the 180. You know what I mean? And he's holding it down too. So
yeah, just the fact that he was able to get his hands on those, that takes some I don't know.
Luck more than money.
Finesse.
Yeah, because you think you got heavy pockets, you get whatever you want, but it doesn't work like that.
Nah.
A lot of these people have, Christian Stewart and even Bill. They got people coming all over who has deep pockets. It just doesn't work that way. Just because you have deep pockets doesn't give you mandatory first pick on anything. You gotta have it in, man. You gotta know what you're talking about, and you just gotta have it in good with the breeder. So. Good on Dan. I appreciate it. But guys, this was a great episode. Looking forward to next week. Got a banger next week, so I hope you guys are ready. I'm not gonna spill the beans because fucking Bill will tell you. So, but guys, do me a favor.
Come on, you can tell us. Give us a hint. I find out the day before.
All right, cool. How about this? I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
He mentioned the guy we're having on. He mentioned today.
Okay. All right. That's a good hint.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Yeah. Any guess? I'm just kidding. No, don't guess. Don't guess. No, I'm good. I'm good. Red Mountain Herps. Okay, check him out on Instagram. Amazing guy, and of course the mayor of Phoenix Reptiles. Give it up. It's a wrap for my two boys, Bill and Marshall, ladies and gentlemen.
See you guys in a week.
See y'all.
Boys, see you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you out there. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, do me a favor, hit the like button, get the likes up right now. If you're a Chondro lover, likes should be up. And of course, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more out of what you see, come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. You can join the Patreon family by clicking the first link in the description below. And as soon as you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord. Over 200 amazing reptile keepers. All right. And then there's also the Instagram group chat. Come network and market with some of the best doing it in the game. Shout out to all my trappers. Also, don't forget, Trap Talk Reptile Network's the only reptile network that is 7 days a week. So you can get it all here on the Trap Talk Network, on the Trap Talk Reptile Network. And of course, you can listen to all these episodes on all the major audio platforms. So if you're more of an audio person, do not sleep on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Google Play, all the good stuff. But before I let you guys go, you know the deal. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor. It's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. For the #1 PVC enclosures in the reptile game, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitats. Excited for today's sponsor, Focus Cube Habitats, #1 enclosures in the reptile game by far. Everything you see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. They're based out of Texas. If you head over to their website, you can select from over 30 plus different enclosure designs that they've done. Two of the hardest working people in the reptile hobby today, and I'm so excited to add more Focus Cube enclosures. So much again, Steven and Ashley. I appreciate the 5+ years of partnerships that we've had together. Looking forward to growing more. Head over to FocusCubeHabitats.com. Head over to their YouTube channel, subscribe, and check them out on Instagram. Thank you so much, Focus Cube Habitat. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available green tree python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Cheers.